Welcome to another yoga session. I'm Kristine Drummond. As we bring our palms together, setting an intention for our practice today. Taking our right ear to our right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. And then taking the nose towards the right armpit, using your right hand to gently guide the head towards that side of the body. And then over to the left armpit, just using your left hand to gently guide the head a little bit further. Back to the middle. Dropping the head forward this time, chin to chest. And then taking the head backward, stretching the front of the neck. Tilting the head to the left and then over to the right. Just taking it from side to side in a slow, controlled motion. And then back to the middle. Dropping the head forward this time. We're going to nod our head forwards and backwards. Nice and slowly. Interlacing the fingers now and pushing the palms away from the body. Bringing them up overhead as high as we can, really stretching and elongating that spine. And then turning the hands the other way so that the palms are facing the body. Gently interlacing the fingers at the back, pulling the head back as we lift our arms. And then gently moving the upper body to fold over the legs as we bring our arms as high as we can overhead. Gently resting the hands out in front now. It's almost like we're in a seated child's pose as we move over to the left, walking our hands to the left side of the body and bringing them back to center before walking them over to the right. Back to the middle. And gently pressing up. And we're going to bring the left leg over the right, heels beside our hips as we melt the upper body over the legs, hugging the knees in with our arms, gently resting our chin on our knee and feeling that beautiful stretch through the glute. And not trying to resist it, but instead just melt into the stretch. Changing legs, right leg coming over the left. Breathing deeply. And then gently pressing up, unfolding the legs, coming into tabletop position, making sure the wrists are underneath the shoulders as we drop our stomach and chest towards the earth. And then exhaling as we curve the spine towards the ceiling. Inhaling as we bend the back, dropping the head back. Exhaling into cat pose, taking our gaze between our legs. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into cat. Coming back to neutral spine, taking the left arm high, twisting the upper body, and then threading that left arm underneath the right side of the body as our right arm goes long. And just breathing deeply here. Gently resting the left side of the face underneath the arm. One more deep breath. And we're going to place the right hand beside the head, coming back to tabletop, taking the right hand high, and then threading it through underneath the left side of the body. Bringing the head underneath the left arm. Just feeling a beautiful stretch through the upper body here. Legs should feel nice and relaxed. And just bringing awareness to your breath work. Walking the hands forward, coming into puppy dog pose as we take the arms long, gently resting the forehead on the floor and pressing our chest towards our knees. Tucking the toes, coming into downward facing dog. Right leg goes long, bending and opening up the hips. And then bringing the right knee underneath the body, planting the right foot between the hands, coming into warrior one. Turning the back foot, warrior two. Turning the feet out to face the side of the mat, coming into goddess pose with cactus arms. Palms together at heart center. Just dropping the pelvis a little bit further towards the floor if you can. Really opening up those hips. And then turning to the other side of the mat, coming into warrior two. And then turning the back foot to face the front, warrior one. Framing that foot, taking it back into downward facing dog. High plank. Slowly lowering the body to the mat. Untucking the toes. 3 baby cobras. Taking the right arm out to the side and using the left hand to push the body onto the right side. The left knee comes up and over the right leg. We're feeling a stretch through the right shoulder here. If you have any shoulder injuries at all, I would avoid this stretch. As we move to the other side now. And if you do need an alternate pose, then you can go into downward facing dog or child's pose. Whatever you feel your body can do with the injuries that you might be carrying. Coming back into downward facing dog now. Left leg goes high. Bending the knee, opening up the hips. And then the left knee will come under the body and the left foot will plant down between the hands as we come into Warrior One. Turning the back foot, Warrior Two. We'll turn to the side of our mat now into Goddess pose as the feet go out on a 45-degree angle. Big deep breath in as we drop down into Goddess. Feeling the power of this pose as we bring our hands to our heart center. And then coming into a Warrior Two on the other side of the mat. And then we're going to turn that back foot to come into a Warrior One. Framing the front foot, kicking it back into downward facing dog. High plank. Slowly lowering the body to the mat. Untucking the toes, 3 baby cobras. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Taking the left arm out to the side, using the right hand to come up onto the left side of the body. And then we're going to gently roll over to the other side. So right arm goes out and the left hand. Just pushing the body up onto the right side. Pushing back into downward facing dog. And then coming into dolphin pose as we come down onto our forearms, keeping the legs straight and the hips high. Drop into our knees, taking the knees to the side of the mat as we bring the arms underneath the bottom and thread them through that gap, and then resting our right or left cheek, whichever one you like, on the mat. Just breathing deeply here. The exhale, rising up and then jumping the feet forward as we come straight into a yogic squat. Opening up those hips, keeping the back straight, guiding those knees outward. Pressing down through the major points of the feet. Should still be able to wriggle the toes. And then pressing down as we come into crow pose, balancing the knees on the arms, lifting the feet off the floor. And continuing to breathe in this pose. We don't want to hold our breath. Coming back into a yogic squat. And if you find you have trouble with crow pose, feel free to leave the big toes so that they're touching the mat until you build up the strength in the wrists and in your balance. As we lift our body off the floor here, well, our bottom, I should say, not the whole body. The feet and the hands are planting down through, but we're just hovering the bottom to take the pressure off the spine here. And then coming into a reverse tabletop position. So we're pushing down through the soles of our feet and our hands, lifting the hips as high as you can, squeezing the glutes, and then dropping the head backward. So we have all this almost table-like structure with the body. Coming into boat pose now. And then gently lowering the body to the floor as we hug the knees into the chest. Maybe having a moment's gratitude for all the amazing things your legs allow you to do throughout the day as we take them over to the left. Feeling a lovely stretch through the lower back here. And then guiding them over to the right. Taking the feet as wide as the mat now, letting the knees fall in to the center. Gently resting on one another. And then taking the legs long as we come into this beautiful resting pose, my favorite pose out of all the yoga poses, Savasana. And it's time to just switch off and let your body rest and recover and do its thing. As you start to close down the thoughts, and just allow your body to fall deeper and deeper into relaxation. Enjoy the peace and the serenity and the space that you've created for yourself. I'm going to give you some peace and quiet, and I'll bring you out of this pose when it's time to do so. Starting to deepen the breath, maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes, stretching the arms, stretching the hands, maybe hugging the knees in one more time before rolling over to one side. Great practice today, everybody. As we close out, coming into a seated pose position, sitting up nice and tall. Taking a deep breath in, taking the arms wide and then palms together at our third eye. May we have kind and loving thoughts today as we lower our hands to our lips. May we speak kind and loving words today as we lower our hands to our heart. May we have kind and loving intentions today. You guys are amazing. Have the most beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Namaste.